Unemployment is one of the biggest headache for the authorities in South Africa, reading nearly 30% by some estimates. But do the latest GDP numbers mean that the country's job market is getting better? Let's bring in Vumi Msweli, the CEO at Hesed Consulting in Johannesburg. Good evening, madam. Welcome to the show. Very interesting question. What did South Africa's latest GDP growth show about the country's unemployment level?
So as far as we can see currently, in essence, the surge that we see that seems optimistic is us coming off a very low base in 2019. It was actually even better in 2019. So it's still at 5.8% lower than it was then. So us seeing that increase is actually in essence internal trade that we're seeing, improvements in our economy based off the alleviation of some of our restrictions that we had implemented in early on in the year. So it's not necessarily that GDP is translating to country job or employment increasing within the country. That's not the case at all. It's also seeing us spending a little bit more money internally with people getting access to things like our unemployment insurance fund, which is allowing for inter-country trade, not necessarily translating to an improvement in our unemployment.
But when we talk about unemployment in South Africa, relate this to what you call jobs for women and female entrepreneurship. In Africa, women in entrepreneurship are job enablers and at the front line. So what's the situation in Southern Africa?
So I'm going to split it into two. And looking at what's happening in corporate South Africa now, we've seen an increase in women being put in positions of power. We've seen the likes of Mthembu becoming the chief marketing officer of Telkom. We've seen Yolanda Xuba becoming president of Southern and Eastern Africa within the MTN group. We also see a shift in power with our Solidarity Fund, which in essence funds what's happening in Africa, going to Thandi Nzimande. So from the corporate perspective, there's definitely a lot of shifts towards women empowerment. However, that's not necessarily translating to what's happening within female entrepreneurship. Of course, here in South Africa, we've got the Black Economic Empowerment, which drives a woman to get access to some of those funds, but that is not translating within an entrepreneurship perspective. Of course, with some of the restrictions that have often been placed, with a lot of women in the country actually doing subsistence entrepreneurship, it is not translating to large numbers of growth with entrepreneurship. Like everywhere else in the world, we're seeing a number of businesses shutting down, including those that are women-owned.
Vumi Msweli, thank you so much, the CEO. And we appreciate having at least one of you being part of the women entrepreneurs in South Africa. Have a great evening there in Johannesburg.